Hello, hello, and welcome. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. And I am excited. Today is day three of the challenge. Can you believe that it is already day three? So I cannot wait to hear some of your testimonies, your challenges, your aha moments, just your experience. That's really what it's all about, is hearing your experience. And I am in the process of setting my window up. Hear your comments as you are tuning in. Please say hello to me and just share, what victories have you experienced so far? Because again, a lot can happen in 3 days. So this is an opportunity for you yourself to kind of witness how quickly the body can respond to all the goodness that we do for it. And so, a quick intro for those who are tuning in for the first time. My name is Sandra Goldtree, and I am a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist, and also a certified personal trainer. And I am here exclusively for you all for this 3-day challenge post summer detox, where we're kind of waving goodbye to the bloating and all the things that we did over the summer months. And we're just kind of getting back on a routine, but we're getting back on routine in a way that is sane and sustainable. And also it can incorporate your whole entire family, not just yourself. And so my goal is to show you a different approach, to give you a different mindset on how to achieve healthy weight loss and to keep it off, as well as increase your energy levels and to feel less bloated. And of course, those cravings, to tame those cravings. We always want to stay in control of those cravings. And so these 3 days have flown by, and it has been truly an honor to host this. And challenges are real helpful for all of us, okay? And so I want you to take a moment and acknowledge the power of group support. And so that's the beauty of the fact that we do have access to the Facebook group, where you can participate with other challengers and you guys can get support and tips and tricks and motivation from each other. But make no mistake, though, that you put the time in, you put the effort in. And so that's what makes all this success. If you came in out of this challenge with one victory, one thing that you did differently, one thing that you changed and you feel good about it, that is success, okay? That is success. At least one barrier that has been knocked down. And I want to share another case study with you, and I'm going to put this in the chat as well. Let's see. Here we go. Put this in the chat as well. And so this is a client of mine. Blood pressure, diabetes, weight, energy levels, okay? So battling with all of that for years, as well as kind of struggling really with the sugar levels. The doctors wanted to put him on insulin. The doctor wanted to increase his medications because he just was not getting control of it. And just in our 3 months of working together, he was able to have more energy than he has had in years. He lost weight. We got his sugar levels under control, got his blood pressure under control, and the doctors were ecstatic because it had been such a struggle for him. But mindset is what's important, okay? I always tell people weight loss has absolutely nothing to do with weight or food. It has a lot to do with mindset. And one of the things that Lewis and I struggled with, and I encourage you to go to the website. I posted it in the chat. I encourage you to go to the website and you can see his story, where he was struggling because he had a fear of carbs. He had a fear of eating carbs because it would spike his sugar levels, because his sugar levels were constantly high. And it took a while for him to trust and understand that we need carbs, but we need a certain amount. It's different for everybody, and we need to have them consistently throughout the day. And of course, you have carbs that are better for your sugar levels and they're not. But we need to make sure that we have them. And his fear was he really wasn't having them, and he was not understanding why his sugar levels were staying sky high. And as soon as he started being consistent in having those carbs throughout the day, what he needed for his body and not too much, then he was able to see those fasting sugar levels at that optimal level, okay? And so he had a lot of health concerns. He was afraid that he couldn't get his diabetes under control. The doctors warned him about his uncontrolled diabetes. His A1C was almost close to 10, and his weight was going up. His blood pressure was going up, and they wanted to, again, increase his meds, and they wanted to put him on insulin. And so here are some outcomes, okay? And so actually his A1C was near 8 at the time. So the outcomes we got his A1C down from 8 to 5.7. We got his fasting sugar levels from 173 to 109. Okay, his blood pressure was in the 150s over 90s, which is high. We got that down to 125 and around the in the mid 70s range. He was sleeping better, had more energy. He lost 26 pounds. His lousy cholesterol, I like to call it, is normal. And like I said, his doctors were very happy because this has been a struggle for years for him. So I always implore you, I encourage you to try on your own. But if it's not working after 6 months, I tried for 3 years and didn't get it working right. If you try for 6 months and you're still having the same struggles and still kind of reverting back to some habits that you're trying to change, get help. It is not worth prolonging things. Okay. So hopefully that is a wonderful testimony for everybody because it's real life. Okay, this is real life, and I'm very happy that Lewis was able to share because we don't always get to hear. We hear from our ladies and we don't always get to hear from our men. So I'm glad that we got to have a testimony from a male perspective. Okay, and so no matter what your personal journey is and struggle is, it's always a way out. Okay, one thing that I learned during my journey is we don't know what we don't know. Okay, a lot of times people think they know it all about nutrition or they have enough to figure it out. But trust me, you don't know what you don't know. And there's so many things that need to be connected that you never even thought of. So we're going to recap yesterday, the agenda. We're going to recap yesterday. We're going to talk about fighting cravings. How do you gain control over your food choices? Okay. And then if there are any questions, you can raise them here while I'm on live. I welcome questions and comments and feedback, and then we'll shift to the final meals for the day, okay? And then hopefully you have some recipes that you can keep and reuse, and then you have some leftovers that you can have for, the rest of the day and tomorrow, okay? And so for a heads up, as I said, if you've been trying on your own to get the health thing working, the food thing is really what it is. Most people struggle with what do they need to eat? How do they need to eat? That's best for their body. Okay, that's usually the one of the big question marks. So if you've been struggling with that for a few months, or you've been doing diets, okay, intermittent fasting, keto diets, they're all forms of diets, but yet you have not gotten the ultimate goal, or you don't feel confident, then your labs are not improving, you're not getting the sleep, you're not rested, you're still feeling the aches and the pains and the inflammation, then I welcome you to stay with me to the end so that you can hear how you can take a deeper dive and really gain that confidence and gain that control that you need so that you won't go through feeling like this is just the way it's supposed to go. I eat this and I would get this type of reaction. I eat that, I get that type of reaction. So there's ways to get out of that situation. Okay. All righty. So let's recap a little bit of yesterday. And as you're tuning in, say hello to me, okay? So I can know who's on the line. Yesterday, we talked about discovering the how and the what. The how and the what that you need to eat and how you need to eat to lose weight effortlessly, okay? Losing weight shouldn't be a trauma, deprivation, death type sentence, okay? It shouldn't go that way. And so there are many ways to lose weight, but finding a healthy eating pattern and an exercise plan that works for you is what we want to achieve for success, because that's how you're going to stick with it long term. And some of those strategies that I talked about yesterday was you want to minimize distractions. Okay. We want to bring out your inner chef. You want to cook more, go out less. You want to, and when I say minimize distractions, meaning not eating in front of the TV or eating in front of your phone, that because we tend to mindlessly eat more in those situations. We don't want to deprive ourselves. Okay. You want to have a healthy relationship with food. It is okay to have what we may consider fun food. I don't like to say unhealthy and bad food. Maybe some things are just less, we have fun foods and we have the nutrient foods. So I like to say more, it's okay to have the fun foods. Buddy up, have a support system, but have a positive support system, not one that's always trying to constantly maybe have you dieting or trying this new supplement or trying the next tea or something like that. Somebody that is going to really be supportive of trying to do things in a natural, holistic way. Make time for yourself. Self-care is important. Have time for fun. Have time for meditation. Have time to build up your spiritual health, okay, as well as your emotional health. Have time for yourself. Self-care is so very, very important. So if you missed that, check it out. And a lot of good stuff there that you can take away for you and your family. All right. So now let's jump into day 3, fighting the sugar cravings. I think this is... Everybody has this at some point in their life and it may not even be sugar, whatever your craving is, chips, whatever your craving is. Sugar cravings are extremely common, especially among women. Okay, so around 97% of the women and 68% of men experience some sort of craving that includes sugar. But again, a craving doesn't always have to include sugar. So those experiencing sugar cravings, they feel the urge to eat something sweet and they find it difficult to control themselves around food. And so this can lead to binging, or this can lead to over consumption of calories, and sometimes on a regular basis. And that's when it becomes a problem, when it's like on a regular basis. Every now and then, that's not really going to break the bank. But if it's habitual, more days than not, then that's when we really have a problem that we have to try to address, and to get to the root cause as to the why. And luckily, there are things that you can do to take the edge off. Okay. And so I'm going to share 3 action-oriented items to help you to get back on track to fight the sugar cravings, because the sugar cravings, us having them, can also hinder our weight loss. Whether it's sugar cravings, whether it's any kind of craving, any kind of overindulgence will affect. So post your favorite crave food. Everybody has a crave food. Mine is the the mixed nuts they're actually from Sam's, the deluxe mixed nuts. They're in this big container. Sometimes I have to just not buy them because it's just addictive. I think that's the crunch factor for me. But so it's not necessarily sweet. So for some people, it's sweet. Sometimes it's something crunchy. Sometimes it's something salty. Sometimes it's something fattening. Sometimes it's all of the above. But what is your favorite crave food? Okay, so I'll let you guys post that, and then we'll keep it rolling on for the next topic. So ditch the added sugar. Now, be careful here. What do I mean by ditch the added sugar? So from sugary drinks, we call them sugar sweetened drinks, as a main reason for unhealthy weight gain. A lot of times people, they drink their calories. I personally prefer to eat my calories, but a lot of times people would drink their calories. But added sugar in drinks that really aren't even providing any other health benefit, things like candy and baked goods, they tend to have a lot of sugar. There's ways to make sweets with a purpose. I like to say we can have healthier versions of the same sweets, and they taste good. But again, moderation. So because there's some things that you shouldn't modify. Just like there's certain songs we shouldn't rewrite that people make. There's certain recipes that just, if you need the butter, you need the lard, you need the sugar, but you eat it in moderation. So cutting out foods that are with high added sugar will definitely help out a lot, and especially the frequency of it that you're doing it. All right. And it's important to note that foods that promote healthy or organic can also be high in sugar. So a lot of times the marketing really misleads people. They will think that it's a healthy choice because it has all these tags, non-GMO and fat-free and organic and all gluten-free. That's a popular one. Oh my gosh. Gluten-free has nothing to do with weight loss, but again, that's turned into a diet as well. And so we want to be careful of the marketing. Okay. We want to be careful in understanding what marketing is and what is actually nutritional sound information that's on the labels. So be mindful of the added sugars. Next, so this kind of piggyback, don't drink your calories. Okay. So most people, I've watched people sometimes will say, well, I don't really do a lot of carbs. And I don't really do, the bread basket, or I don't do croutons, or they have certain things, or I don't really do a lot of, desserts and sweets. I hear that, but then I watch them in a restaurant, especially when they're in a restaurant setting. They will order a drink, a non-alcoholic, drink that's full of chasers, full of sugar, or they'll order a milkshake, or they'll, or they'll order something, or they'll order an appetizer that is breaded. Breading is still a carb. So it's kind of interesting, people's mindsets. But we want to be careful of the calories that we drink. Sports drinks, coffee beverages, flavored, they tend to be high in calories, artificial colors, flavors. Everybody does not need a sports drink. I would say for my average active individual, food does the job. But if you're competing for something, or you're in a competitive high endurance mode for hours, then yeah, you need some supplements. But most of us do not. We can get it just from eating our food, our regular meals, when it's done regularly throughout the day. But note that 100% juice has no added sugar. And a lot of people will not drink it because it's got a lot of added sugar. Not when it's 100%. Okay. The problem with that is it's just people tend to drink too much of it, and then they're not eating enough whole foods. So 100% fruit juice is really what you want to go to if you're in a quick situation and the whole fruit is not available or things like that. But that is natural. So for instance, a 4 ounces of orange juice, 100% orange juice is equivalent to an orange, a 5 ounce or five, yeah, about a 5 ounce orange minus the fiber. Okay, you will lose the fiber. And in some cases, the juice has more nutrients such as potassium. So if you're trying to replenish electrolytes and things like that, orange juice is a good one. So it's a place for dried 100% and whole. So it's a place they all bring different things to the table. Okay. And so for you all, my question that I have is where's your weakness? Is it adding the added sugar like in foods, or is it the drinking your calories? So where do you find yourself kind of having your weaknesses? Okay. And so now let's go into the second one, the second action item, as you write that down or as you type in the response. Cut back on the refined carbs. Okay. So when I say refined carbs, I'm speaking of artificial sugars and grains that have had their fiber and all the removed from it, the fiber and the bran and things like that. So basically it's enriched. It doesn't have the fiber in it. And so examples are like the white flour, the pasta, the bread. Whole grain versions are all encouraged, okay? And it does fall within your, as long as it falls within your caloric needs, and that includes bread and pasta. There are whole grain versions of those as well that are not as harsh as the traditional brown breads, but they all fit. They all fit and they all provide nutrients that our body needs. And so the refined carbs are low in fiber. They tend to digest quickly. They spike your sugar levels. And it makes you feel full only for a short period of time. And then if you have your complex carbs, which are more of your fiber, like your quinoa, your barley, your whole grain, your brown rices, your whole wheat breads, carrots, potatoes, those are going to digest slower. So it's not going to just spike your sugar levels up very dramatically. Now, again, if you're eating too much of it, then of course it will. Again, you have to know what your portion size is for your particular body. So that is very, very important. Okay. Another thing, veg out. Okay, vegetables are loaded with fiber and nutrients that your body craves. And so when you have enough of the vegetables and the whole grains and the fruits and the lean protein and the healthy fats throughout the day, that helps to ward off the cravings because your body's not feeling deprived. It's not feeling like it's missing something. And so once you increase those things, you want nutrient dense foods versus calorie dense per se. And so studies show that people simply eating a salad with their meal, not only, but a salad with their meal helps them to shave off some of those extra calories to where you're not wanting something or craving something later. It helps to fill you up along with the rest of your meal, ensuring that your macros are a part of your meal. And so definitely want to include vegetables in your day. I usually say have them at lunch and dinner and you're good. You're good. And so where do you feel like you need some support there? Okay, in regards to refined carbs. A lot of times people don't get enough fiber, so they're having problems GI wise, and things are not moving regularly, and so forth. So we want to make sure that we're having everything that we eat does not have to be whole grain, but we want majority of our foods to come from a whole grain source. So are you getting enough fiber in, or do you need to get veggies? A lot of times people struggle with getting veggies in. Juicing is fine. Depending on what's in the juice as well, because sometimes people are adding things to it. So we got to be mindful of things that we're adding to it to make sure that that's not tipping the scale. But if juicing is the only way you get it in, then there's healthier ways to do that. And I definitely welcome working with anybody in helping them do that in achieving that goal. Start your breakfast with a high protein breakfast. So not surprisingly, people typically don't have problems with the protein. If anything, they do too much at breakfast. So they're typically, I eat eggs and I have bacon and then some coffee, So I typically hear that. So we want to make sure that we have our protein around 20 to 25 grams for the average person. And then and that equates to about 3 ounces. So we don't want to have this whopping 2 to 3 ounces. You don't really need a lot because if you're incorporating all the food groups, you're going to get quality protein from other food groups as well. So if you're sure you have your grains on your plate, as well as some fruit, as well as some healthy fats, then you're going to, and as well as carbs. So that's where the dairy comes in, whether that's soy milk, whether that's milk, that is a way to get some protein. Almond milk does not have protein in it, so but if you have the almonds in the right amount, you will get some protein from that way, but not the liquefied version. So there's ways to get it in. Yogurt, there's other ways of getting it in. So ensure that you have a healthy breakfast that includes carbs, healthy fat, not just protein. Okay. And so, quick summary on what we talked about. So, realizing that it takes time to change your habits. Don't get discouraged if it takes longer for you and your body to adapt, but just know that you're doing a good thing. And before you know it, all the pieces are going to line up. And research shows, we used to hear it's now like 66 days in order to make a habit. We used to say 30 days a lot, but now it's like 66 days of consistency, not perfection, but consistency with trying to build new habits in order for things to really begin to stick. But the test, I always say the test is when the unexpected happens, when the unknown happens, when something takes you from your normal routine. That's when you're tested to see, well, hey, how much of these practices am I still holding on to? Because that's when you need to do this stuff the most. It's when you're in stressful situations, and they're usually unplanned. So you just kind of got to do it on your fly, on the job training, right? All right, so let's talk about this special opportunity that I have for you all that I'm very excited about. Remember, I said if it's taking you more than 6 months to do it on your own, to figure things out, remember weight loss is not just about food, it's about mindset, it's about timing, it's about sleep, it's about stress management, it's about mindset. It's so many things and how to adapt these different strategies in situations. And so, Fuel and Train to the Max, I'm very excited about this because I have converted it to a self-paced program to where you can work it at your own pace, at your own time, and digest it as you need. You don't have to stress about logging in live, even though you had access to replays, but just knowing that you can do it at your own pace gives people a lot of comfort. You still have access to me, support via email and via in the portal where we will stay connected. But this is an opportunity for you to really see for yourself how meals, when they're packaged a certain way, how it really makes a difference. Along with, you're going to get training on the sleep factor, get training on really how do we naturally detox our body, get training on how to build the meals and carbs and why they're so important and why we need them. So you'll have these trainings that are still included, but you will have these trainings, and it spills over to your family. So a lot of times people feel that this is just for you and only you and the family can participate. That's a diet. And I don't believe in diets. This is not a diet. This is a lifestyle that you can share with your friends and you can share with your family. And so you will have 6 weeks of meal plans that are actually laid out. Yes, you can download meal plans, but these are designed to ensure that nutrients are included versus excluded. It's not about being restrictive and deprivation, but it does include the whole foods, and you'll see a variety of colors and a variety of ways of preparing the food. So you'll see it, and then you'll have these individual recipes where you can keep them and pick your favorite ones, but have fun doing them and the way that it's laid out. You have a meal prep guide. So for those who are not as savvy in the kitchen, you can follow this guide to where you want grab and go as much as possible. That's what increases compliancy. So you grab and go, you have things laid out, and then you will have the trainings from me every week. A new module will open up every week that gives you the training, gives you the supporting handouts that goes with it, so that you can digest it and make it your own. And then you also have an opportunity, and here's the best part is you have an opportunity to have a one-on-one consultation with me for 60 minutes where we can take your specific case, your medical conditions, medications, preferences, and we can make it more personalized for you. And then in many cases, I'm able to tweak and say, oh, well, maybe we need to either add something here to the base of the meal plan, or we need to take away to the base of the plan to make things work for you. So it's about fueling your body. It's about stepping in your highest level of health. It's about removing the dieting mindset and the fear of eating things, and just really getting a solid foundation of what you're eating, why you're eating it, and how to make that work to where you're not feeling guilty or wondering, well, is this what I should eat, or is this what I should do? Very low cost investment, you will see that it is very low for the information that you will have access to forever. So you will have access to this whenever you need to come back to it. It is there for you, especially if you've had failures in the past with diets, okay? Whether that's intermittent fasting, whether that's keto, whether that's Weight Watchers, whatever the diet, juicing, soups, whatever. There's so many out there I can't even keep up. But if they have not given you long-term success, if it hasn't taught you how to eat, a lot of times diets don't really teach you how to eat. They more so kind of teach you how to restrict. But if you don't feel like you've learned how to eat and how to maintain in different circumstances, whether you're traveling or on the go or at a conference, then this is a good foundation for you to jump on. And your fitness level, if you're so tired that you don't even feel motivated to work out, this is going to help you to get that motivation, that energy that you need, because you do need energy in order to work out. If you do have a workout plan that you're following, maybe you go to a Orange Theory or you have a personal trainer, but if you have something that's actually laid out and it's cross training and it's led by a professional, stick to it. If you love it and it's working, stick to it. Now you just need to add the 80, that's the 20%. Now you need to add the 80%, which is the nutrition part of it, to make sure to help you really maximize your results and really get lean and really change that body composition. And so, like I said, you have, and then the 6 weeks, you actually can repeat the cycle. So it's always good to do things in 3-month chunks. That's really when you give your body a chance to change and really realize the eating that you're getting in. You'll get incremental benefits with the eating. Like after the first week, you're going to see a big difference with your GI, with sleeping, with bloatedness. So those are some initial fast things that you will see. But then over time, that's when over the 3-month course of time, you'll see changes in your labs. You'll start to see changes maybe if you had some long-term inflammation going on. Some of those longer-term ailments that many of us struggle with, you will start to see those improvements over time. So definitely something worth checking out. I will put this in the chat as well. I don't think I did that. I think I just have it in the, let's see here, comments. Here we go. Add this to the comments for the Fuel and Train to the Max. So very excited about it. Any questions, any comments, don't hesitate to ask. But registration is open. The first 7 gets the opportunity to have that one-on-one with me. So definitely take advantage of that. That's $125 value, perfectly complimentary, where we can give you steps and next steps that you can actually implement the same day. And that's what it's all about. And so I'm excited and I thank you for tuning in, and I will continue to look at the posts, and then and you will see more advertising on Fuel and Train to the Max over the next couple of weeks. But again, the first 7 gets that complimentary one-on-one where we can actually take this boot camp that has nutrition and the exercise as well as a dietitian all in one for a very low investment that the information will stay with you for life, and it spills over to your family. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for participating in this challenge. It's been wonderful. It's been a pleasure, and look forward to stay tuned for the next thing coming from me. Bye-bye.